I'm doing a giveaway. Stick around to the end of the video to find out how you can enter to win. What is up, everybody? I'm NoLexGiven, and today I wanted to talk about how to get ahead on Headless Horseman. And Headless Horseman is definitely an interesting hero. I think a lot of the interactions with this hero are very subtle, but they can have some really big results. Like, for instance, in this shop, we are picking up the Labyrinth Minotaur, so that way we are more likely to kill whatever my opponent plays this turn, and then I'm locking onto that for glory, which I'm hoping that with the addition of my opponent's unit this turn, I will be able to win. So now I get to play 3 characters here on 2.1, and I'm hoping that's enough to allow us to play an additional unit next turn. Just get ahead, play 3 units this turn, and try to stay ahead with the Headless Horseman. Definitely felt apt for me here, and we'll see if we are going to be able to do so. Picking up a Cindy is also pretty fantastic. That means we'll get 1 tick down from this 4 glory, and then we'll also be able to tick it down for free with these kidnaps in future turns. So all of that is obviously really powerful. I'm going to wind up backlining Cindy just to play around Baby Dragon slightly. I felt like we were pretty well covered on a lot of our bases, but unfortunately my opponent had a 3 health Labyrinth Minotaur because they are Potion Master. So a little bit unfortunate. We're not going to be getting our 4 glory, though neither is my opponent. They were also looking to for glory against us by the looks of it, and went for a Shard of the Ice Queen on turn 1, followed by a for glory on turn 2. So a little bit unfortunate, but we'll pick up another Labyrinth Minotaur plus a Baby Root on turn 3 to support that pair, and hopefully this is going to make us stronger. Maybe we can get some slays in with the Kitty Cut Purse, but ultimately I am not going to use a kidnap here, and that is deliberate. I think that at this point in the game I'm already strong enough, so saving my kidnap to have the potential to steal a tier 3 character, I think is ultimately going to get me farther. It's going to give more bang for my buck, and I was definitely right. We are not in trouble on this combat. We are still going to pretty easily win it. I mean, I think we had 100% to win there, but it did look a little bit close because we only had the Baby Root as our last character. Something that's very interesting about Kidnap is obviously you want to steal their best unit, but you're so much more likely to steal their worst unit. Reason being that their best unit is less likely to die because it's bigger than everything else, right? So that is always kind of an interesting conundrum with Kidnap. But here we are kidnapping specifically because we are playing up against a Wonder Waddle. Wonder Waddle just more likely to have better units for us and some upgraded units and things like that. So definitely worth a use of a kidnap. And then I'm also considering locking onto this True Love's Kiss because we've got a Polywoggle that seems somewhat likely to slay. In this case, it just has to hit into something with 4 health. That'll give us a tier 4 character. Then we can True Love's Kiss it up to 5. And that seems like a lot of fun to me. So let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to get super lucky stealing the Wizard's Familiar and getting that slay. A really, really lucky attack for us that is going to have a huge impact for this game because we just stole ourselves a 7/7, and as much as I love River Wish Mermaid, we're going to True Love's Kiss that into a Robin Wood and grab a Robin Wood on 3.1. That is a turn 5 tier 5 character for those of you paying attention, and I think we're even going to have a turn 6 tier 6 character next turn. So things are definitely going really, really well for us this game. Kind of an interesting puzzle trying to figure out everything with Robin Wood, but ultimately I do still like playing the Baby Root despite the fact that that is going to be what receives the Robin Wood bonus. I'm just going to pick up this Stag to pump up the Baby Root, pump up the Robin Wood and ultimately just be strong for us. We do see that this shop has a pair of Wizards Familiars as well as a free roll to activate Cinderella, and I think that it could definitely be worth locking onto, though there are some other things that I'm considering, like maybe using another True Love's Kiss next turn, because we do have this Robin Wood, and maybe that will give us a better sense of direction. Wizards Familiar, I generally don't consider direction. An upgraded one is obviously very good, but unless you're going all in on like monster book type strategies, without the treasures, the mages certainly don't do as much work. But we'll see where this brings us down the line. Robin Wood is going to be able to easily clean up this combat. My opponent happy to see a Robin Wood there, or unhappy to see it, probably more accurate. We get to pick up a Polywoggle this turn, and as long as we cut our Baby Root, Polywoggle is going to receive the Robin Wood bonus and should be able to easily slay. So that is a ton of fun. And from here, I would have considered something like Hermes Boots that maybe allowed the Polywoggle to attack first, but Merlin Slippers, pretty powerful treasure. We talked about that not too long ago. Not sure when this video is coming out, by the way, but it is on the previous patch, as you may or may not be able to tell. And then I find a True Love's Kiss. So we're kind of done with that Polywoggle strategy. That was the other reason to pick up Merlin Slippers, and then it was also it's just like a good way to pick up XP or something now that we are strong, because we have all these stats from Storm King and Wizards Familiar, and excuse me, while I do still stand by that I'm not super happy to play mages, an upgraded Wizards Familiar and a Scion of the Storm are definitely going to make me a little bit more inclined to cast more spells, and then I'm also just going to see more spells with the fact that we've got these Merlin Slippers here. So we'll see what we are able to turn this into. Definitely going to want to pick up some XP. We see that my opponent this turn has found themselves a Wish Upon a Star. We're going to be looking for some similar stuff here in the future, hopefully with help of those Merlin Slippers, and then a little bit of extra cash as well from the Kitty Cup purse getting in its slays, but more so the fact that we are seeing 2 spells each shop. I did also mention Monster Book, and that'll definitely be something strong that we'll want to pick up here, just because that'll continue to pump up our mages. So I'll go ahead and pick up the book, and then I'm going to pick up or put the Wizards Familiar back in. That was just a mistake. And could see taking Friendly Spirit. It's not horrible with Monster Book, because sometimes a blessing will land onto the Friendly Spirit, but I'm really gonna roll here and look for more Monster Books or XP. That's really all that I'm interested in, and we find some XP, which is super great. I feel really, really strong for this stage of the game, and I think we should be able to win the Wish Upon a Star, and that's the staying ahead part of this video. Once you are ahead in one way in Storybook Brawl, usually by just having a strong board, getting a little bit lucky with some different angles that you're pursuing, try to get ahead in a different way, like XP, and that'll let you stay ahead for the rest of the game. So while I don't think that this Scion of the Storm or Wizards Familiar are huge payoffs that are going to last us until the end, they'll at least get us to wherever it is that we are going, wherever that might be. Maybe it'll be a bunch of monster books, excuse me, but we shall see. My opponent, or actually my monster book, casts a Falling Stars, and that takes out all of my Labyrinth Minotaurs in the back, which is pretty awkward. That does mean that we are going to have a tough time in this combat, but when I lose half of my board to a Falling Stars and still beat my opponent, I don't know. You got to be feeling pretty good about your chances overall in the game. Gonna go ahead and pick up an Aeon here, and that's just gonna allow us to cast slightly cheaper spells. That'll let me cast things like cantrips and things like that, which like a Potion of Health or something, which I'm otherwise not super inclined to cast. They do give me some temporary stats on the board, but I'm not sure if they're totally worth the gold investment. But if I can make them free, then sure, I will go for it. Wind up picking up some XP here. And then I'm going to support both of my sleigh characters with the stag because we are on 5.1. And maybe we can get this Polywoggle to sleigh turn into a tier 6 character, give us some better direction than these mages. And like I said, the Aeon is just to grab some slightly cheaper spells so that way we can continue to be powerful. But we are the ending here now, so we are on 5.2, and yeah, this game actually has a lot of different ways that I could clickbait with it now that I'm thinking about it, because we had a tier 5 character on turn 5, we had a level 6 character on turn 6, and we also cast a bunch of XP this game. We actually get 5 bonus XP throughout the course of this game, and I'll let you think about that for a second, as we are only up 3 XP right now and about to hit level 6 next turn. But we're gonna get that sleigh with the Polywoggle. That is really, really great for us. It's not going to be through rune stones either. As we can see, my opponent has the Skips Puzzle rune rather on their side of the board. It is actually going to be through this Genie's Wish, which I just decided to cast because it's free, and I figured why not, and it gives us a Wish Upon a Star, and then we're able to win the combat again. Not that we need any of this XP, we were going to be level 6 next turn, but we'll have a few bonus XP despite all of this. But the XP this turn is actually somewhat helpful. For as silly as it is, we still had all of our gold for the turn, so that's going to allow us to roll and find some more tier 6 characters. And while I don't have anything great to go with the Echo Wood currently, I think that it is still just a powerful unit that we're going to want to play eventually. And then I roll one more time and I see a pair of Bear Stains. And while I don't think that Summons is the most powerful comp in the game, and while we don't currently have anything on this board to go with a Summons comp, I think it's got to be the way to go, because 2 Bear Stains is just really, really ridiculously powerful. So that's the plan from here on out. We're going to pick up these Bear Stains. We're going to maybe use our Knighthood at some point. Kind of forgot about the 3rd Knighthood that we grabbed from our hero power. For the end of this turn, I'm just going to cycle out some characters from my shop. So, oh no, I'm going to buy 1 Bear Stain right now. Wow, okay. Kind of forgot about that, but it makes sense. It pumps up the good boy, and then it's one more thing for the good boy to pump, so not too shabby. Kind of would have been nice to steal an upgraded copycat against this opponent, but no matter, we'll save the kidnap maybe for the next time that we play them, because we are not going to be taking them out in this combat. They're going to be hitting us for a little bit of damage. Now on this turn, I'm going to pick up the 2nd Bear Stain. We knew we might take a little bit of damage there, but it was definitely worth it just to start using as much of our econ as we could towards transitioning into this new comp. So I can feel this, and then we're able to pick up a Time Flies on this turn, which will be our first Summons unit. It's a little bit silly, and we've got to sell something to do it, which is a little bit awkward because it probably means we're selling the Stag, or otherwise we're selling a really large unit, but I think it just has to be the Stag here, and that's at least going to get pumped up by these Bear Stains. And I'll just throw in a free roll after that. Could have certainly used the Kidnap here, though the longer we wait with this Kidnap, at this point, the better it's going to be. Because at this point, like, Kidnap, when we're up actually like 3 XP or 2 XP on the rest of the lobby, at this point, is only going to steal a tier 4, a tier 5 character. And I'd much rather use it to steal something a little bit better if we just hang on to it a little bit longer. And we have the health to be able to do so because our first 2 kidnaps were so well timed. So we'll hang on to our 3rd one here and see what we can do with this pair of bears, and potentially could consider locking onto like a Black Cat or something here. It's cheap enough. And part of the puzzle to this game is we're only at 11 gold this turn, and we've picked up all of these tier 6 characters while still being pretty short on gold. throughout because we've not technically gotten to this point in the game yet, so pretty silly stuff. Our good boy is going to get scammed, but we do get to summon in time flies, which gives us a little bit of stats. Mostly we are still banking on these mages carrying us here, though. We'll see how those are able to do. Echowood able to survive with 1 health, pretty good. My opponent with a pair of ranged units is going to turn this one into a tie ultimately, but pretty close combat. Not too shabby here. And now, excuse me, my neck's just bothered me a little bit. I've recorded a few videos today, so my neck bothered me a little bit, but we do have the opportunity to pick up a copycat here. But it's awkward because we don't really have a backline that we want to make use of for copycat. We really just want to find summons and put them in the front line. I'll take a time flies and then want to roll for a little bit more. I'm going to wind up using a Mix-a-Wizzle on my Wizard's Familiar. It gets us a Princess Peep, which I was really excited about. Then I kind of forgot that I was excited about it because it's just for the 1 turn. So I think about sharding it, but then I realized that maybe we could Drink Me Potion and True Love's Kiss It or something. We wind up finding another Mix-a-Wizzle here, which I honestly don't think I should have gone for. Gives us a Gingerbread Knight, which is like a large unit, but won't get us those summons that the Princess Peep could have gotten us. So a little bit awkward. Ultimately, I think I will decide to sell my Golden Chicken and cast this Black Cat here, or Cat's Call here, because we're just a little bit low on relevant characters. And I feel like this will allow me to win the combat and preserve some health. So it's like a +5 health or +7 health potion at that point, which is probably worth 2. Bearstain is going to get targeted by Lightning Dragon. A little bit awkward. We'll summon in some time flies, and then also realizing now my Cat's Calls aren't going to be quite as large because we don't have anything else going on, but neither does my opponent. My opponent is actually pretty weak here, still on 5.1. You got to remember just how much XP we were actually up this game. So we are going to take them out, move on to the top 4, where the game is definitely going to get started. We are up against Wonder Waddle yet again, and here I'm thinking might be a good time to use my Kidnap. Wonder Waddle, obviously just a super powerful hero. I could Pigomorph them because they are technically the lobby leader, but I think that I might just want to Kidnap against them instead, as much as I hate to turn down all of these sweet spells that we are seeing thanks to Merlin and their magic slippers. I will triple my Bearstain. And then I think about, well, how much do I want to greed this? Singing Sword, very, very good with Bearstain. Pandora's Box, really good with like everything. And it's honestly, I feel like it's still early enough, despite being in the top 4, that I can get away with using this Pandora's Box. Now the question is, do I have to pick up these pigs here? Do I have to sell 2 things? I don't know what those would have to be in order to pick up the pigs, and ultimately I decide against that. We're just going to bank on these time flies, hopefully being good enough, and rolling down for the rest of the turn. Not going to wind up caring about anything else, but I do like this shop. It's got 3 tier 5 characters that are all pretty strong with Bearstain, at least the 2 animals are. Then it also has a Masquerade Ball as well, in case I just want to say, you know what, show me some tier 6 characters. So I'm liking my chances as long as we don't die here, and we've got 30 health. So we can't die, and we even get to steal a good boy from the Wonder Waddle. So definitely a really, really well-timed Kidnap that we were able to make super good use of. This Wonder Waddle is still going to be strong. We're actually going to wind up tying this combat. It's going to be very close, but some key maths allowing that Scion to hang on and the Bearstain and everything to trade very nicely means that we tie, but 35 health. Their board looks sick, but now ours looks sicker. We have double Good Boy plus Mirror Mirror and an upgraded Bearstain, and with that, I think that we are out of summons and into the Mirror Mirror of it all. And I think it's time to Masquerade Ball, try to find some more Good Boys, some more Echowood, some more Bearstains. We are indeed going to find the bear, and this just gives us a wickedly, wickedly powerful board with this pair of Good Boys. So just looking for more of each of these 3 things at this point. Good Boy, Bearstain. I would have taken this Croc spell before we found the Mirror Mirror, but now that we have, we don't need it. And then I will lock onto this Echo Wood, I believe. I believe I should. Something makes me feel like I roll. Though, I think I really should lock onto this Echo Wood. Maybe I'm just getting it confused. Like I said, did commentary for a few videos today. I don't actually know when this video is going to come out. I'm recording it before the patch. It will probably come out after the patch. But who knows? We'll see when that patch actually is. Just going to sit on this video for a little bit here. Just like we sat on those knighthoods. It's all about timing, you know? Or not knighthoods, kidnaps. It's all about timing. And up against Pan Shadow, I think that we are going to have no problem taking them out. And honestly, unless that Wonder Waddle comes up with a whole bunch more stats for the next time we fight them, I think we're going to have an easy go against them as well. These good boys just get absolutely massive once they get to resummon with this doubled up Bear Stain. This, oh yeah, we even have the Time Flies to get through as well. So Echo Wood's up to 200 in the back. Good boy is going to actually be big enough that our second good boy just survives. So yeah, just a ton of stats all around here. Scion of the Storm also works with Mirror, resummons as a 45. Wasn't really considering that, but definitely pretty funny to be able to make use of that as well. So we'll get a kill onto Pan Shadow. Wonder Waddle does not quite take out the Potion Master, but the fact that Wonder Waddle dealt damage to Potion Master obviously makes me feel pretty good about my chances of beating the Potion Master as well. I'm going to use a Beauty's Influence on the evil good boy, thought process being that that way if our second good boy dies first, then we will still be able to throw some additional stats onto that first good boy and don't have to worry about it not getting the bonus or any weird stuff like that. And then from here, I really like the Knighthood. I think that it's definitely worth locking on to Knighthood at this point, and one of the reasons that the Merlin Slippers are so strong. So I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do with my coin this turn. I could just buy the Queen of Hearts, bank a little bit of gold, or I could pick up like Lady of the Lake or Friendly Spirit and sell off one of my characters. And I think that it's ultimately better to sell off Scion or Wizard's Familiar, because Scion of the Storm does have that synergy with the Mirror. Then I'm going to go ahead and pick up the Lady of the Lake just because I felt like it has more synergy with the rest of my board. It's a ranged unit. It's buffing, benefiting from all of these good boys dying. And you can also see I had no problem just frontlining my Echo Woods. When you have Mirror, it's totally fine to just frontline your Echo Woods unless they get scammed by a Medusa. They're pretty safe in that regard. And all of my characters going to be popping off here. Echo Woods up to the 400s now. Good boy doing just fine, and we are going to be able to get an easy kill onto Potion Master, hitting them for a nice little 15. We will have to find some ways to get stronger to start to deal more damage to this Wonder Waddle, but as we can see, oh wow, I actually go for Knighthood on the Bear Stain. I totally forgot about that. Makes a lot of sense. I think I was actually debating it for a while, to be totally honest, but the important thing here that I just got a little bit distracted by, Wonder Waddle lost to the Ghost, despite being a crystal baller. And this is old Wonder Waddle too, but unfortunately they were not able to be strong enough. So they're losing to a Ghost that we defeated. I think that we are going to have no problem taking them out here. And did I not speed this video up? Well, I might not have sped this one up. Okay, well maybe we were looking at this in real time. Maybe that's why I'm struggling a little bit too. Maybe a little bit longer video for y'all getting ahead here with Wonder Waddle. But regardless, we are looking really, really powerful now. We can see that my opponent has picked up a Princess P and a Bear Stain that they're not doing anything with, and then just some supports in the back line. They're not quite going to get the treasure from Hercules, but we still have a game to play because I'm not going to be killing my opponent in one combat. I think we're going to be hitting them for 18 here now that we've added an upgraded Bear Stain to the back line. No, 17, right? 2 more. It's only going to put them down to 8 though, which means that we still got some game to play. I'm going to wind up picking up this Golden Chicken before casting a Drink Me potion, and here is where I go for the other Knighthood. We will have to sell off this Scion of the Storm, but getting to upgrade a good boy is obviously a pretty big game. There is somewhat of a fear that with an upgraded good boy, it won't die. My opponent won't be able to kill it, but that's just going to be something that we have to live with. Yeah, I didn't speed this one up. Okay, made a mistake trying to speed it up there in my editing program. Makes sense. Makes sense. But you get the full deal here. The full deal here. That's somewhat of a tongue twister for me, somehow. But hopefully my opponent is strong enough that they're able to kill my good boys. It's kind of a weird thing. Playing up against a good boy mirror, sometimes like the good boys are too strong and don't die. My opponent scams one of my Echo Woods, but they miss scamming on my upgraded good boy. And my upgraded good boy is going to get a little bit more stats, even so, as the other good boy dies before it. Let's see if it will die eventually here. My opponent going to get their treasure from Hercules, but I don't think that's going to be enough. They do have really large ranged units, but we've got really good everything units with this upgraded good boy. Time Fly is going to go down, and then we are able to take down my opponent's Lady of the Lake and win the game. So really sweet one. Wonder Waddle was definitely our main opponent almost the whole time, and I think that that's a really interesting part about Headless Horseman. Identifying the threats in the lobby just based off of the heroes and just based off being familiar with the other heroes, knowing who to kidnap against and when. That first turn kidnap can be really good just because then Headless Horseman gets to act as an econ hero. And I think for the most part Headless Horseman will be an econ hero. I definitely got a little bit lucky stealing an upgraded Wizard's Familiar, and that sprungboard me to the end of the game where I was able to steal a good boy from that same player. So really sweet, really fun one. Obviously got lucky too with the mirror, but you know, that's Storybook Brawl. That's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm No Lex Given. Peace. This week's giveaway word is dust. Each week I use a new code word. That's just to distinguish who's commenting for which week. And the reason I have you guys say a code word, that way I can tell who is interested in the dust and who's just commenting to say hi or that they enjoyed the video, stuff like that. You can definitely do both. Just make sure you include this week's code word. You can also enter as many times as you want per week, once per video. You can go back, leave comments on old videos, just make sure they include this week's word, but there's no limit to how many times you can enter, other than, I guess, the amount of videos that I have. And I've been putting out a bunch of Storybook Brawl videos since last October, so yeah, there are a bunch of opportunities to enter to win. You can go through the backlog and watch some of those, but it's been really fun to receive the comments from you guys, get that level of interaction. You can also come join me on my Discord, which I'm trying to grow right now, just so that I have feedback on my titles and thumbnails and things like that, but I also have some fun ideas for special game modes that I could make work with lobbies of players in the future. So feel free to check that out as well. There is a link to that in the video description, and help me climb on my way to 1,000 subscribers. I'm getting there slowly but surely, and thank you guys all very much for your support.